Okay, welcome back. So we're still on Introduction to Food and Nutrition, Part 2. Now, by the end of this class, you should be able to list out the different careers associated with foods and nutrition, then outline the subjects related to foods and nutrition, then state characteristics required for foods and nutrition careers, and also explain reasons for studying foods and nutrition. I get a whole lot of questions from students. What's in for me if I study foods and nutrition, if I want to pick it up as a career? Yeah, there is a lot of career opportunities opened to people that decide to study and have formal training in foods and nutrition. So this class will help you get abreast and know that you can actually do a lot with studying foods and nutrition. Now let's look at the careers associated with food and nutrition. The first one is that you can be a teacher, teaching. So you can teach. Now, a lot of ignorance about food habits, a lot of things. So you can impart knowledge to reduce the rate of ignorance, about the science of nutrition, the effects of malnutrition. A lot of people do not know this. So as a teacher, you can actually educate them on these vices so they can actually live healthy. I also teach them how to encourage good cooking and feeding habits. And then, okay, what's in for me? Where can I work? There are job opportunities for you in secondary school. You can teach in secondary school. You can teach in medical schools and also school of nursing. You can teach there, impact knowledge to people. You can actually do that even on a daily basis. You see people, you can actually tell people what and what not to do as regarding what? Their health. Another one is that you can be a dietitian, dietetics. So as a dietetics or as a dietitian, you can be employed to counsel patients who need diet therapy. Someone is malnourished, someone comes to you, oh please, my child is not eating well, my child is malnourished, what can I do? So as a dietitian, you now put them through on the diets they can eat and what they should not eat, and then put that child that is malnourished or tell them what is expected to do. That's what you do as a dietitian. So there are job opportunities for you everywhere. You can work as a consultant, despite working in a hospital and then pharmacy. You can also be a consultant. People can call you to give them ideas on diets, and then you make money from that as well, being a dietitian. For, it range and cuts across every aspect of human nutrition. You can tell them what to take for their skin. You can tell them what to take to be healthy, to lose weight, to add weight, a whole lot of these things. So that's what you do as a dietitian. The next career associated with foods and nutrition is food scientists. Food scientists. Now, they study the basic chemical, biochemical, physical, and biophysical properties of food and their constituents. Now, you see food, they tend to know what it is all about, the components of this food. They are involved in research and development to see that new recipes are improved by the day. So you can be a food scientist. You can actually create recipes and develop them so people can actually know the benefits of these recipes. Now we know of various institutions that have recipes known to them and to their company, and it can never be shared out. That's their company's trademark. Now they can employ scientists to check. So when they have new products coming in, they can actually call a food scientist to check the biochemical properties and chemical properties of these foods, so they can open it up to the market. Now, job opportunities open to persons that want to study food and nutrition as a food scientist is that you can actually lecture in a university, polytechnic, and also food research institutes and food processing industries. So you can actually lecture as a lecturer in food science department or in a polytechnic, and also in food research institutes where, there's daily need for research to see new recipes and to develop recipes. So as a food scientist, you can work in research institutions and also food processing industries where they process food on a daily basis. Another one is a food technologist. As a food technologist, you are involved in the application of the knowledge of food science to the processing of food, and as to improve flavor, texture, appearance, and other desirable properties. Now, there's something I always say, foods are always in season. When foods are in season, you tend to see them everywhere. You tend to see them everywhere. You see carrots, when carrots are in season, everywhere you go, you find them everywhere. So when carrots are not in season, you usually still see them, isn't it? Your beans, when they're not in season, you still see them because a food technologist has actually improved on those things. You find them in cans, you find them, preserved so they can be in season when they are even out of season. So as a food technologist, you should be able to improve flavor, texture, appearance, and, all the desirable properties of food as well. Now, where are the places you can work, or what are the job opportunities open for persons that have decided to, choose a career on food technology? You can actually work in research institutions and food factory. You can work in food factories and research institutions to develop and improve on food appearance and what they look like after they are being processed. Another career associated with foods and nutrition is that you could be a food engineer. Now, what do? You devise means and techniques of post-harvest storage of food and aid preservation of processed food to prevent deterioration and spoilage. Okay, now when food is kept, without proper preservation, what happens? It gets bad, especially when you have your perishables and non-perishable foods. When you don't preserve your perishable foods properly and you expose them, they are going to get rancid. They're going to get bad, they're going to get spoiled. So as a food engineer, you're able to devise means on how to preserve food. Like our vegetables, when you harvest them and you keep them without proper care, what happens to them? By the time you check them 2-3 days, they're already going bad. They're deteriorating in their shape, in their size. So as a food engineer, you have to devise means of how to preserve this food long before they are produced or long after they are produced, so they can stay for a longer period of time by looking out for preservating methods and how each food can be preserved. There are job opportunities to you as well. You can work in laboratories, you can work in research institutes and other food processing institutes as well. As a food engineer, you are there to do what? Develop technique. You want to see that food is preserved even when they are not in season. Another career associated with food and nutrition is catering. And this is one career that is well lucrative. And as a caterer, you can be self-employed by setting up catering services to cater for the public, especially during events such as birthdays, housewarming, dedications, weddings, burials, and a whole lot of these ceremonies and events. Now, you can make a whole lot of money from being a caterer. First things first, you're self-employed, so you don't need anybody to boss you around. You're your own boss. Now, I have students that, that are actually making money from just making cake, and them doing their cakes, and then after learning, they make their cake, and people saw them, I'm like, I love this cake, who made it? And I made the cake. Before you know, everybody's asking, you need to make cake for me, and she built a career with that. So you too can become a caterer. Not just cooking for events, you can own restaurants. You can own a restaurant. We have the likes of The Promise, Kilimanjaro, all these are caterers, and they're making a whole lot of money from it. So you too can actually invest in becoming a caterer, so you can make a whole lot of money as well and fend for yourself. Now, there are subjects related to foods and nutrition. Foods and nutrition is connected with a whole lot of other subject. It has brothers and sisters from everywhere. So it has is related to agriculture. Food and nutrition is related to agriculture. You know, agriculture has to do with farm produce, products and all of that, livestock. Now, food and nutrition, because we're involved with this, it helps us to understand food and nutrition better when we have an idea from agriculture. And home economics is like another subject that is related to food and nutrition is home economics. And, you know, home economics is like the branch that covers every other subject. So home economics gives us an idea how to manage a home, how to take care of ourselves, how to be very healthy. Because if you don't know how to take care of yourself, you cannot actually become healthy and focus on your health and your nutrition as well. Because cleanliness, like they say, is next to godliness. So home economics gives us that idea. It gives us a knowledge on how to take care of ourselves. So food and nutrition is related to home economics as well. And then physiological is a branch of biology that deals on living organisms, and then it gives us an idea as well. So in food and nutrition, you know, we tend to dabble in some of these events. So it gives us an idea on what is expected. Then food science, like we said earlier, it gives us an idea as well. Food technology also gives us an idea on what we should do when it comes to food and nutrition. Also food engineering, as we said earlier. Now, education is one subject that is related to food and nutrition. We learn to enlighten people. We learn knowledge. We get a lot from education because it teaches us to do what? Impact knowledge. So it's related to food and nutrition. Another one, economics. You know, like I said, as a caterer, you need to know a lot about what? Budgeting, planning. So economics comes in there. It helps us to dabble around this. So when they say, do me a budget for 50%, so I'm having an event coming up. If you don't have an idea with economics, you won't be able to actually achieve that. So economics is one subject that is related with food and nutrition. Also physics. Physics is related to food and nutrition. You know, in food and nutrition, there's a lot of cooking, heat, transfer, and all of that. So physics gives us a background on how to, for the temperature for each food. Let's say, for instance, if we're making yogurts, you know, you need to get a certain temperature. You don't just make it, you need to get a certain temperature. So physics gives you an idea to what is expected in food and nutrition. Also medicine. Medicine is another subject that is related to food and nutrition, human health. We've been talking about human nutrition, health, and all of that. So an idea from medicine can get us grounded to understand food and nutrition better. Now, as it is with every career, there are some characteristics that should be peculiar with you. Same goes for food and nutrition. So for you to become a food and nutritionist or to actually build up a career in food and nutrition, you need to have some of these skills. And the first skill you need to have is what? Team working skills. You need to learn to work with people. You know, you shouldn't be a lone ranger. You need to learn how to work with people. And another characteristics that you have to have keen interest in the impact of diet on health. You need to have a passion for it. You need to love what you're doing to impact knowledge. Like if you see someone eating what is not right, you see some people they're eating rice and they're drinking gari at the same time, you know, your gari flakes. You can tell them, no, what you're doing is not right. Don't, you know, you should be able to just tell everybody what is good for their health. Okay, you should have that keen interest to impact diet on health. You know, you just love to do it. Another thing is that you must have good interpersonal skills, interpersonal relation skills. You know, you need to be able to relate with people. Now, if you're going to be having your own establishment, if you don't know how to relate with people, like the hospitality industry is broad, and food and nutrition exposes you to the hospitality industry, you know, hoteling, restaurant, and a whole lot of these things. So if you don't have good interpersonal skills, you won't be able to relate with people very well, you know, because people are paying for service, and if you don't give them that service that they need, could walk away because they're actually paying for service. So you need to know how to talk to people, you need to be kind, you need to make them feel at home while they're away from home, you know. And another skill that you should have is communication skills. You need to be able to relate with people. Well, you need to relate with people appropriately. You need to have good communication skills as well. Another characteristic that is peculiar with foods and nutrition is that you have to be able to motivate people. You have to be able to motivate people. Now, when you work in a team, you know, we have people from different, you know, backgrounds. That's where we have the individual preferences. You know, people coming with different ideas, you know, moods and all of that. You should be able to do what? Motivate people to work and achieve the same thing. So you might be this hot and fire person and the other person is lagging behind. So you can be able to do what? Motivate this person to actually get along and follow up with what is happening. Now, let's look at the reasons for studying foods and nutrition. Why should you study foods and nutrition? I'm actually making you understand why you should study foods and nutrition. Now, to know how to plan, prepare, and serve balanced meals for different physiological conditions and locations. Now, one of the reasons for studying foods and nutrition is that you should be able to plan, prepare, serve balanced meals for different physiological conditions and occasions. Now, when you talk about physiological conditions, it ranges from different people. You know, from the lactating mothers, pregnant women, sedentary workers, aged people. So when you are studying foods and nutrition, you have an idea on how to prepare their meal, because you can't prepare the same meal that you're preparing for yourself for a diabetic or for a child, an infant. Now, you know, children like a lot of colors with their food, so you just don't go making food randomly and just put it them. They won't eat. But if you make it colorful and make it look very nice, children will eat. They will, you know, it becomes appealing to them and they want. And also for different occasions, like we said, you know, for weddings, birthdays, and all of that, you should be able to do what? Know how to plan for these events. The another reason for studying foods and nutrition is that to be self-reliant members of the society. Now, you would have to do what? Fend for yourself. I know a lot of students that are making money from what? Studying foods and nutrition. The idea is they got from studying foods and nutrition. Most of them are out of the country and they are making money because their friends are telling them, please cook for us, and they are cooking and they are making money. They are paying for the services they are rendering out. So you can be self-reliant members. You don't have to depend on people to eat. If you have the skill of cooking, if you have the skill of baking, if you have the skill of making, you can just go about doing your business without waiting for someone, because you actually eat from the works of your hands. Another reason is that for the maintenance of good health, you know, you study foods and nutrition so that you can maintain good health. It helps you to be conscious of your health. Health is very important, and when you lose it, you lost something great. You can lose every other thing, but when you lose your health, it's something that money cannot buy or replace. So it helps you to do what? Maintain your good health. Another thing is that to acquire the knowledge of different methods of cooking, it helps you to acquire the knowledge of different methods of cooking. There are different methods of cooking. Cooking can be monotonous. It can be boring. It can be, you know, some people say they don't like to cook because they are not experimenting a lot of these other cooking methods. It's just monotonous. It's just boiling, frying, and that's all they know. So there are other methods of cooking food that makes it interesting and appealing. You know, food should be appealing and what's presentable. So when you know these other cooking methods away from boiling, frying, you would actually enjoy cooking. So food and nutrition helps you to know these other methods of cooking when it comes to food. Now, another reason for studying food and nutrition is that you're able to know, choose, and care for kitchen equipment and utensils appropriately. Now we have a whole lot of kitchen equipment and utensils. A lot of us don't even know some of the equipment in our home, how they use them. So when you study this, because you come to the lab, you're having practicals, you see a lot of these equipment and utensils, you learn how to use them. You know, some persons don't even know how to even on their gas burners. They don't even know how to on the ovens. I've seen people that have ovens in their house and they can't use it because they don't know how to on it. And then by the time they start using it, by the time they have the idea, they love using it. So food and nutrition will help you be at an edge to learn to know how to use some of the kitchen equipment and utensils as well. You know, your kitchen equipment are those equipment that are fixed. You know, they are not easily moved around. And your kitchen utensils are those ones you move around. You know, they are easily moved about, like your cooking spoons, those things you use regularly in the kitchen. So it helps you understand how to use most of these equipment. Now, another reason for studying food and nutrition is that it helps you to maintain good health, for maintenance of good health. It helps you to, you know, to be very conscious of your health. You know, when you lose your health, it becomes a problem. So you should be able to learn how to maintain your health. So that's what food and nutrition helps you do. It helps you to be conscious of what you eat, to actually be conscious of the diet that you consume, to always take balanced diet. So it helps you to be conscious of that need when it comes to food. Another reasons for studying food and nutrition is that to acquire the knowledge of different cooking methods. You know, a lot of people complain about cooking being boring or monotonous. Now, this is because you are just used to cooking with one method of cooking, or two, let's say boiling and frying. You know, that's all you know. There are a whole lot of different cooking methods that can actually make cooking very interesting. So when you learn this, you'll be able to cook in using the different methods of cooking to make cooking, you know, an exciting one whenever you want to cook. So having an idea about the different cooking methods, you know, keeps you at an edge over every other person to make food appealing as well. Then the next one is to be able to know, choose, and care for kitchen equipment and utensils. Now, kitchen equipment, you know, are those equipment that are not easily moved. They are mostly fixed. When you put them there, they remain there, you know, in a static position. Then your kitchen utensils are those ones that are easily moved. You know, you pick them from one end to the other, like your cooking spoons, you know, your graters, your colander, and all of this other equipment. So now, food and nutrition helps you to know, choose, and care for kitchen equipment. There are some things we have in our homes that we don't even know how to use them. We do not know how to use them. So your idea about food and nutrition helps you to know how to use the kitchen equipment and our utensils properly and appropriately. Now, a lot of persons don't even know how to on their gas burners or even on the oven. You know, I've seen one person say, I don't even know how to on this oven, and they've had it in their home for over some months, and it's just been there until they are taught. But food and nutrition helps you to do what? To understand, to know how to use most of these kitchen equipment and utensils. Now, another reason for studying food and nutrition is that you'll be able to know the different kinds of food that meet the dietary requirements of different individual groups, you know, under the different physiological age. Now, there is a dietary requirement for every individual. Most of the time when we buy our food, we check the pack of the food, you know. There's one thing I usually look out for, you know. Aside looking out for the expiring date for any product, I also look out for the dietary requirement as well. So I look out for the dietary requirement, every food or anything I want to buy. What is in for me as I'm taking this thing? So it helps you to know the number of calories in it, the protein, the carbohydrate, and everything that was used to what the nutrients that are involved in this. So studying food and nutrition helps you. You know, you're conscious of the dietary requirement. For a child and an adult, the dietary requirement is not the same. So studying food and nutrition helps you to know the dietary requirement for a child, the dietary requirement for an adult, and also for the different physiological condition, which has to do with different needs. You know, let's say for a diabetic, you know, he needs to take nutrients that would help build the insulin state. So you need to know the dietary requirement for each of these physiological conditions. That's what food and nutrition helps you do. It helps you to understand that everybody needs different dietary requirements. Another reason for studying food and nutrition is to know the basic knowledge and principle of nutrition. Yes, it helps you understand nutrition better why you should eat healthy, why you should stay healthy, why you need to balance your meal, why you need to do all that you need to do to stay healthy. It gives you that basic knowledge, from the basic and to even to the advanced knowledge as well to us regarding the principle of nutrition. Another reason is that it helps to provide good intellectual development. It helps to provide good intellectual development. When you know what is needed in your body, you won't play with anything, as when it comes to your health. You know that as I'm taking this is what it does to my body. So you just don't go about taking carbonated drinks and then, just living like you're carefree. Now it gives you good intellectual you take food that would actually help you grow and build, because some of the things we eat actually affect our productivity as well. So studying food and nutrition helps to provide good intellectual development as well. So you have more idea on what is needed in studying nutrition. Another reason, which is the last to studying food and nutrition, is to develop appropriate manipulative skills in the various cooking process. This is very important. And for those persons that will proceed to taking it as a course in WEAC and writing it in WEAC and any other external exams, manipulative skills is very, very important. That's what examiners look out for, is manipulative skills. They want to see how you are able to manipulate, your culinary skills, the way you cut, the way you dice, and you know all the different methods of cutting, ranging from julienne, strips, and dicing, and all of that. So having the manipulative skills keeps you at edge. So you're able to know when you're studying food and nutrition, you are able to develop appropriate manipulative skills to be able to do things differently other than the way others that would not have studied food and nutrition would do it. It keeps you at edge. You have manipulative skills on how to wash beans. Some people won't do moi moi because they do not know how to wash the beans. They say, so it's tiring. But food and nutrition helps you. You can even make your moi moi in less than 30 minutes. Or let's say for 30 minutes, you've washed your beans because you have an idea on how to wash the beans to soak. You have a technique on how to do it faster. So having that manipulative skills keeps you at edge, from other persons that do not study food and nutrition. So, and other various cooking processes, how to cook things faster, how to make things, you are able to, to navigate the cooking processes. Instead of waiting, it becomes you have a monotonous way of making your food. You can actually play along some other aspects by introducing the manipulative skills you learn from food and nutrition to make food interesting and to make work easy in the kitchen. Thank you.